Have you ever met someone who would rather suffer in silence than ask for a single favor? Maybe you are that person. You'll work twice as hard, stay up twice as long, and push through twice the pain, just to avoid saying, "I need help." Most people think this is stubbornness or pride, but psychology tells a completely different story. In this video, we're uncovering the 3 hidden reasons why some people never ask for help, and the last one reveals a psychological strength most people will never understand. Let's dive in. Here's what most people get wrong. They assume these individuals are just being difficult, ego-driven, control freaks who can't trust others. But research in behavioral psychology paints a very different picture. People who avoid asking for help aren't necessarily arrogant, they're wired differently. And that wiring comes from 3 deeply psychological places. Let's break them down. Reason number 1, the fear of burdening others. On the surface, it looks like independence, but underneath, it's hyper-awareness of other people's time and energy. Psychology calls this excessive empathy. These people have an internal calculator running 24/7, measuring how much they owe the world. Asking for help feels like taking something they haven't earned. Studies show that people with high emotional intelligence are more likely to refuse help, not because they don't need it, but because they overestimate the cost to others. They'd rather carry the weight themselves than risk making someone else uncomfortable. Sound familiar? Reason number 2, early conditioning and trust issues. Here's where it gets deeper. Many people who never ask for help learned early that they couldn't depend on others. Maybe their needs were dismissed as children. Maybe they were let down when it mattered most. So their brain adapted. It built a rule. If I don't ask, I can't be disappointed. This isn't weakness, it's a survival strategy. Their subconscious is protecting them from vulnerability. And over time, self-reliance becomes their identity. They don't just avoid asking for help, they genuinely believe they're supposed to handle everything alone. But here's the twist. This makes them incredibly resourceful. They develop problem-solving skills most people never will. Reason number 3, the competitive advantage you didn't see coming. This is the part most people miss. Yes, refusing help can be isolating, but it also builds something rare, unshakable self-trust. When you never rely on others, you become your own safety net. You learn to sit with discomfort, to troubleshoot under pressure, to innovate when there's no backup plan. Research in performance psychology shows that people who practice extreme self-reliance develop what's called internal locus of control, the belief that they control their outcomes. And that mindset, it's one of the strongest predictors of success. So while the world sees someone too proud to ask, psychology sees someone building an engine of resilience most people will never have. If this is you, here's your takeaway. Your independence is a strength. But true power isn't proving you don't need anyone, it's choosing when to ask. Try this. Ask for help once this week on something small. Not because you can't do it, but because you're strong enough to let someone in. So, do you struggle to ask for help? Or do you know someone who does? Tell me your story in the comments. I'll be reading everyone.